6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
G'day and welcome to D.U.S. Down Under Sports, where we talk all things sports related, just down under. I am one of your hosts, Christopher Spreezy, and I'm joined with a special guest today,
Harry Manaras. Christopher, thank you for having me on board here today. Looking forward to it.
Nice to have you, Harry. I've been trying to get you on for a few weeks, so it's good for you to stop by.
Been a very busy man of late, and it's a pleasure to be on here.
It's good to have you, mate. Always
Thank
a pleasure.
you. Thank you. Looking forward to tonight's discussion and topics. And what's our focus, Chris?
Let's get into it. It's the World Tour Finals in London.
Yes, prestigious tournament, obviously.
The top 8 in the world. Top 8 tennis players.
Correct. Based on the 2019 rankings and their performance.
Yep.
They compete in the O2 Arena in London.
Yeah. Let's get into it. So, before we start, we just got to say me and Harry both have a personal relationship with Stefanos Tsitsipas.
Yes.
And we want to wish him and his team the best of luck.
Yes, a very good luck to Stefanos, his father and coach Apostolos, and the team, the extended family as well, all the very best. But obviously we're not going to be biased in our analysis of the ATP NITO Finals in London. And definitely looking forward to dissecting obviously Group Borg, obviously, and obviously the second group, Group Agassi, which consists of 4 players in each group, round robin format, and then knockout in the semis and the final, and the eventual champion.
That's right. Should we get into Group Borg?
Yes, let's start
Novak
off there.
Djokovic, Roger Federer, Matteo Berrettini, and Dominic Thiem.
Yes. So
who do you see coming out on top there, mate?
Well, I think that's the toughest side of the draw, to be quite frank with you. You've got Novak Djokovic, a 15-time Grand Slam champion. You've got Roger Federer, a 20-time Grand Slam champion. So that's 35 Grand Slams in that group alone. So phenomenal stat there. Berrettini, what form he's been in of late, what a season he's had. I think nobody probably knew who he was unless you're from Italy or an intense tennis follower. I think he started the year around 45 or 50, and he's come leaps and bounds to take that last spot. And then, of course, you've got Mr. Consistent Dominic Thiem, who I think...
He's not a clay court specialist anymore. He's showing some great form on the hard court.
He is. My concern is, though, Chris, he played Dimitrov in Paris the last week of the calendar. That was a Masters 1000. He got battered, I think, 6-3, 6-1. So I'm just a little bit concerned. Has he overplayed a lot of tennis? Is he fatigued, Dominic Thiem? But this is definitely the group of death, in my opinion. So to answer your question, sorry to cut you off, Chris, who's going to get through? I'm putting in Novak Djokovic as a shoo-in. 2 and 3 is going to be very difficult. I think Roger Federer has strategically pulled out of Paris to focus on this tournament. I think he's fresh as a daisy, so he's had a full fortnight off the tour. I think he's had a nice practice session in the week leading into London.
He's used to conditions.
Correct. He's used to the big stage at O2 Arena. However, my smoky for this group, with utmost respect to Dominic Thiem, who's a phenomenal player and the current world number 5, I think Matteo Berrettini is going to take Thiem and serve it to him. I genuinely believe Matteo Berrettini, if his return of serve game, is on against Roger Federer and he can force juices, break points and keep the pressure on, he's every chance of beating him. But I'll just have Federer in 3 sets against Berrettini.
So you got Djokovic and Federer going through?
Djokovic 1, Federer 2, Berrettini 3, Thiem 4. What are your thoughts? How do you analyse this group, Chris?
Well, going back to Thiem, he didn't play well against Dimitrov.
Yes, in Paris.
But you got to remember, the week before he won Vienna, his hometown tournament. Correct. So that took a lot out of him emotionally and physically.
Of course.
Also, he did very well in China, winning the China Open.
Beijing. That's correct.
Beating Stefanos in the final there.
Yes.
Then my 2 to go through are Novak.
Yes.
And Dominic Thiem. I think he's in great form.
Okay, Dominic.
I think he was a bit fatigued in Paris, but I think he's playing very well.
Yes.
And I think he's gonna. The first match is very important. It's Berrettini, Djokovic, and then followed by Thiem and Federer. I think the winner of Thiem and Federer has a great chance, but my 2 picks are Novak Djokovic and Dominic Thiem.
Interesting. So you're writing Federer completely off as number 3 and Berrettini.
Yes, I am writing them off.
Okay.
But it's going to be tough, but I just see Thiem and Novak going through.
Okay, so you've got Novak first, Thiem second.
Correct.
Federer third.
Correct.
And Berrettini in 4th.
Correct.
Without a win?
Without a win.
Without a win. Okay, so I'm going to have Novak first. I'm going to go Federer second just, by a nose
Yep.
in 3 tough sets against Berrettini.
Yep.
I'm going to go Berrettini third, and unfortunately for Dominic, I think he's played a lot of tennis this year and it's caught up to him. I think he's going to be leaving London early with no wins, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, it's going to be tough, but we'll see how it plays out.
We'll see. If the surface was clay, I'd then probably put Thiem in second.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe even first to topple off Djokovic. But
Definitely.
let's go to Group Agassi now. So this is going to be a very interesting group. I started analysing the ball group first, so I'll pass it on to you to analyse. So what are your predictions?
Well,
what are you thinking?
first of all, Nadal, Medvedev, Steph, and Zverev. He's the defending champ, so he's got a lot of points to defend.
Alexander Zverev, that's correct. Yes.
He's got a lot of points to defend. Look, for me, I don't see Nadal as a threat. He had to pull out of Paris. He was injured.
Correct. Semi-finals before the Shapovalov match, was it?
Yeah.
Or the quarters.
Quarters.
Yes.
Yeah, quarters. Because quarters.
Yes.
I think he's not going to come in 100%, but I see Medvedev and Stefanos coming through in that group. I don't see Rafa doing anything. Well, obviously he's the world number 1, but he's trying to battle Novak for the world number 1 ranking, end of year world number 1 ranking.
That's correct. Yes.
But I see Medvedev coming on top of the group and Steph.
Yes.
Coming second.
So I reckon the sort of next gen or the future generation prevailing over Nadal. Do you think age is starting to catch up on Rafa?
I just think he's just injured, and always at the end of the season he tends to decline slightly, burn out.
That's correct. Yeah, that's a fair
injury,
assumption.
the wrist, the knee. There's always problems there, but I think Medvedev's had a fantastic second half of the year, especially.
Phenomenal. Yes, I think he's the most improved on tour.
Definitely.
And probably the next one besides the big 3 to win a Grand Slam.
I think that's coming up very soon. He always, has a great record against Stefanos, doesn't he?
Correct, and that's something I wanted to bring up to you. So the opening match is Daniil Medvedev versus Stefanos Tsitsipas, and then you've got Nadal taking on Zverev.
Yep.
Both matches have a 5-0 scoreboard, so Nadal's in favour of 5-0 against Zverev in the head-to-head records.
Interesting.
And Daniil Medvedev against Stefanos leads 5-0 in the head-to-head.
Do you think that's a more mental thing, or was it just different game styles? Why do you see it being 5-0?
It's very interesting. I mean, we were there 2018 US Open. We watched a Medvedev Stefanos match. There was not much to separate them.
It was a stinking hot day too.
It was very hot.
Yeah.
Look, Nadal, obviously, he's the world number 1. Zverev, he's pretty raw and young still on tour, but now he's starting to mature. So I think when it comes to Nadal and Zverev, there's definitely experience, there's class, there's a lot of factors there. There's the style. Good luck beating Rafa on clay. So if they've played on clay a couple of times, that's pretty much almost an automatic win to Rafa. So fair enough there. Daniil and Stefanos, Daniil Medvedev and Stefanos Tsitsipas.
I think they don't really like each other that much. There's a few personal jabs here and there.
I think their relationship is improving from what I've heard. But look, irrespective of their relationship, I think it's a case of, there's not much separating them. There's never been really, the last meeting was at Shanghai. It was 7-6, 7-5. So
and he went on to win the tournament.
Correct, and he beat Zverev quite convincingly in the final.
Correct.
So before that, I think every time they've played, it's either gone to 4 or 5 sets or 3 sets in the best of 3 format. So there's not much separating, and I definitely believe, in my opinion, that game's going to probably determine who finishes second and who finishes third.
Because Stefanos does have quite a good record against Zverev.
Correct.
Doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got the wood over Alexander Zverev.
He beat him quite recently too.
Beijing in the quarters or the semis, I believe. This was the semis.
Semis. That's
Beijing
right.
Open, China Open.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah. So look, I don't see Rafa. I just think he's lacking match play. And he's got the cloud of injury, Is his wrist going to hold up? Is he, But he's battling for that number 1 spot, end of year ranking, which I can see that being pretty dangerous for the opponents in the group.
Of course, 100%. So how are you analysing this group? I want to see who you've got first, second, third, fourth, and how many wins.
So I've got Medvedev.
Daniil on top.
Yep.
Yes, with 3 wins.
3 wins.
Okay.
I've got Steph.
In second. With 2 wins.
Yep. He's going to beat Zverev and he's going to beat Nadal.
Okay, yes.
I've got Zverev third.
Yes.
And Rafa fourth. We could look back on this in a week and say, wow, I really did stuff up there. But
Yes.
I just think that Rafa's not 100%, and that's going into my predictions.
Fair enough.
What about you, mate?
Well, thank you for asking as well. So my opinion's a little bit different now. So I'll start off with analysing how I think the group's going to pan out. I'm going to pencil in Rafa as number 1
Wow.
with 3 wins. Honestly, it's a flip of the coin between, I've got Daniil, Medvedev and Stefanos Tsitsipas for 2 and 3. I think, unfortunately, Alexander Zverev, he's had a pretty poor season. Scraped in at number 7. He just got in through Paris.
The last week or so.
The last week to qualify for this tournament.
Yeah.
I think he's going to go in similar circumstances as Dominic Thiem with 0 wins. However, my opinion on Nadal's a little bit different to yours, Chris. So I think now Nadal's at that age where he can't be playing 40 tournaments per year.
Of course,
He plays a taxing game on his body. His joints are buckled by this stage of the year. But I genuinely believe he's now managing his body better and he's managing his schedule better. So for example, this might sound a little bit crude towards Rafa. I think it was a tactical withdrawal from Paris, because I believe he got to a certain point where on the live rankings he realised, okay, Novak, even if he wins a tournament, I've got a bit of a buffer in ranking points, which I think is about 400 or 500 ranking points right now.
So you're saying he went to Paris, he got the number 1 ranking,
Yes.
and he just said, look, I've got number 1, I'm out of here.
Yes, I think a week off would have done him well as well. Obviously recently married as well. Congratulations to Rafa on the marriage there. But look, I think now he's going to come in nice and fresh. Djokovic did play he got the bye first, so he played 5 games of brutal tennis, it's fair to say. So I genuinely believe Nadal tactically withdrew from Paris in order to prepare, have a bit of a buffer on Novak.
Never thought about
and
that.
I think he just sort of fake nursed an injury, if that makes sense. So, but you got to do what you got to do. It's a taxing sport, the tour, and my prediction is Rafa in first. I genuinely believe, no biasness here, I think Steph 6th time lucky against Daniil. He's going to pinch him. I think Daniil had a shocking Paris. He lost to Jeremy Chardy in 3 tight sets there. So I think maybe he's overplayed a bit of tennis as well, starting to feel the pinch. Daniil in third with 1 win, and I think Alexander Zverev is going home with no chocolates whatsoever.
After hearing the theory about a tactical withdrawal per se, it's really crossed my mind. Maybe you're on something there, Harry, because he got the number 1 ranking, and he goes, let's just rest it. Let's rest the wrist, rest the knees, and get ready for the push in London, because he's never won the World Tour Finals.
Correct.
He's won pretty much every other tournament, bar 1 or 2. But the big one, he's missing this one.
That's correct, to his accolade and a lengthy CV, it's fair to say. There's titles on that can go for like a yellow page book or something like that. So,
definitely.
But look, it's going to be very interesting, and obviously that brings us to our next topic. So the battle for number 1. I want to discuss that with you, Chris. But not only just the battle for number 1, I also want to discuss what can happen 3, 4, 8, 7, 6, 5. There's a few little bits of interesting pieces and what can happen.
And Harry, that's very important come January for the Australian Open seedings. If you've got the top 4 seed, you have a better draw
100%.
coming to the semi-final, you know what I mean?
Correct.
It's very important to be a higher seed.
100%. And obviously these 8 cannot face off until the quarterfinals of the tournament, so they're going to get an easier type ticket to round 4, but anything can happen in Grand Slam.
No Grand Slam match is easy,
of
but
course.
it's a better pathway to the final.
100%. So, and obviously you want to be in the top 4, because if you're 4th in the rankings, obviously the big 3 will be there. But if Daniil Medvedev's got it now, but if you're 4th, you cannot face Novak, Rafa, or Roger until the semi-finals of the tournament. So that's an advantage.
It's a huge advantage,
I agree. So obviously I believe there's 1,500 ranking points up for grabs
if you go undefeated
every single match. So that's a massive amount of points where it can take you from 6th to 4th, from 4th to maybe 3rd. I think it's going to be hard to see Novak and Rafa slipping. I think their ranking points are just way too far ahead of the rest. But we'll quickly go through the ranking table just quickly. So 1 is Rafael Nadal, 9,585 ranking points. Djokovic, 8,945. So that's
fairly close.
So that's that 500 point buffer that I was talking to you about. So Novak's hoping Rafa can lose a group match and maybe bundle out of the semis, and he goes undefeated. He'll take the number 1 spot. Federer's, there's a bit of distance now and daylight. So Federer in 3rd with 6,190. We've got Daniil Medvedev, fantastic US Open in the second half of the year, 5,705. Dominic Thiem probably can't get Daniil on 5,025. You got Stefanos Tsitsipas in 6 at 4,000 points. Zverev 2,945 and Matteo Berrettini at 2,670. So I think Matteo could chase Zverev's tail.
Yep.
Stefanos can probably push closer towards Dominic without overtaking him. Dominic can push closer to Daniil's tail. So you're going to have a mini battle between Nadal and Djokovic and Federer and Medvedev.
That's the main battle going into it, right? The 1 and 2, and then Medvedev and Federer. Look, like you said, maybe you're right. Maybe Rafa's peaking for this tournament. Maybe he wants to win the World Tour Finals and get the #1 ranking. Because looking back in history, you see the end of the year, it's not who was #1 in June or July. It's the year-end #1 ranking, which is very important. And obviously, both champions want that year-end #1.
100%. I know sometimes you watch, the tennis and leading into the Nitto finals, we've heard the commentators sort of say, do you think that at the back of their head they're thinking about 1 and 2, who's going to finish it? 100%.
Oh, definitely.
I genuinely believe all the players, especially Novak, Roger and Nadal, they're definitely fighting for who's going to take most Grand Slams. They want most weeks #1.
Oh, yeah.
They want all the accolades because this has been a fierce rivalry and 3 of the best that we've ever seen in the whole generation of the sport of tennis.
The golden age of tennis, as I like to call it, Harry.
Yes.
Never again will we see such 3 great champions in their prime. Murray was there, but he never, he's won 3 Grand Slams. I mean,
correct.
That's 15, 19, 20.
And who knows if Juan Martin Del Potro was injury free and a little bit more healthier, plucked the US Open in 2009. Wawrinka's there with 3 as well, so can't forget him. But they've definitely been the 3 that have dominated the last probably 14, 15 years. Yeah. So,
but we'll never see an era quite like this.
Never say never, but it's very hard to
see. Very hard.
Correct. So I'm going to say, look, based on the year-end rankings, I think Nadal, just with that extra 100 ranking points, I can't see him losing 600 points to Novak. And your prediction said he's going to not win a match in the group stages. So
if he's injured.
If he is.
He's injured.
Okay, fair point. I can see Novak winning the tournament outright, but just falling short in the #1 ranking by about 100 or 200 ranking points.
Yeah.
I think Federer is definitely going to be challenged by Daniil Medvedev, subject to Daniil's performance in the group stages, and if he can maybe somehow fluke away into the final. But I wouldn't say it's a fluke because he's played some phenomenal tennis throughout the year. I think Dominic's going to stay 5. I think Steph's going to stay 6. And then I think maybe perhaps Matteo Berrettini and Zverev could swap 7 for 8.
Well, they will if your prediction comes true.
Correct.
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk about the semis now, shall we?
Yes, we'll go on your prediction on the semis, and then we'll analyse Bourne first, and then we'll go Agassi. Borg, sorry. Borg, pardon me. Borg first. Agassi second, your predictions, and then we'll go with mine. So fire away, Chris.
Alright, so we got Djokovic and Thiem. That was my prediction. Against...
So 1 versus 2 of the other group, and 1 versus 2 of the other group.
So Djokovic versus...
Who did you have in second?
I had Medvedev.
No, Steph. You had Medvedev first, Stefanos second.
Correct, that's right.
So Novak
versus Steph.
Yes.
Alright. Novak's beating him, Stefanos beating him
2 head-to-head. Shanghai and Canada, Toronto the year before. Yeah. Novak beat him on clay in Madrid in the final and just recently in Shanghai. No, sorry, Paris. Pardon me.
And last week, Paris, that was a beatdown, wasn't it? 6-2, 6-1, I believe.
Correct.
Total beatdown.
Yes.
I'm not going to look too much into that last result. Why is that,
Chris?
I just think...
Off day for Steph?
Yeah, off day for Steph. He had his mind on London. The other matches they played was a lot more competitive.
Yep.
I think it'll be a tough 2-setter. Maybe 7-5, 7-6, or 2 tie breaks.
Yes.
Or 1 tie break at least. Novak going through.
Yes, to the final.
And then I got Thiem versus
Daniil Medvedev. Yes. Who's your prediction?
Medvedev.
Daniil?
Yeah.
Straight
sets. Maybe 6-4, 6-4.
Okay, so a break of serve in each set. Okay, so convincing win there for Dominic Thiem. So then you'll have Daniil.
Convincing win for
Medvedev. Daniil Medvedev.
Yeah.
And then in the final, you've got Novak Djokovic versus Daniil Medvedev.
Which we'll get into after your semi-final predictions.
Okay, so I had Rafa finishing on top in Agassi.
Yep.
So he's going to take on second in Borg's group, which I had Roger Federer. So it's going to be RF versus RN, Nadal, Rafa versus
Big
Federer.
Fidel matchups.
Fidel matchup. So that's going to be phenomenal. I think they've played like 55, 60 times.
Crazy.
Who knows? I believe Nadal's got the wood on Federer, but of late Federer has won a few.
I think it's the past 6 or something.
Minus the French Open.
Minus the French?
Yeah,
Yes.
the French Open. Then they played in Wimbledon, and Roger won convincingly against on his preferred surface, obviously. So, look, on hard, it's a flip of the coin.
Yep.
If Nadal's fit, healthy, not burnt, not carrying any niggles, I'm going to say Nadal in 3 tight sets.
An epic match.
And Nadal will make his way to the final. On the other side, so number 1 of the Borg group,
So
I had
Novak
against Stefanos. Now we've both got that predicted. So I'm not going to look too much into the battering that Novak gave Steph. I think Steph played a hell of a lot of tournaments. So he had the China Open, he had Shanghai. He went deep in both weeks, had a quick week off, and remember there's a time difference, jet lag, adapting to the new conditions, cooler. Went to Basel, played another 4 or 5 matches, lost to Federer in the semis, then went into Paris straight, quick turnaround. He played another 3 or 4 matches.
Yes, it comes back to bite you.
It does. Fatigue's a big thing on the tour, and sometimes I think people don't really understand how much they go through, the recovery after games, the niggles they carry, the physios that their team. There's a lot behind the scenes. So, look, I think Novak will definitely prevail. I think Steph's going to steal a set. I think he's going to steal the set. I'm going to go Novak in 3, but they're going to be very convincing sets. I think Steph will dominate some part of the game and the match, but I genuinely believe Novak will be in control of the sets when he's in control of the match.
I understand. Yes. And your final is? Who's in your final?
So I have got Novak Djokovic against Rafael Nadal. Wow. So that's what I'm anticipating. I know it seems like 1-1 in
each
group. It's just
predictions though,
Yeah, of course. But I know people might think and judge, that's the easy way out, Harry. But your final's a little bit more interesting. So let's go with your thoughts if these predictions come true. So you got Daniil Medvedev against Novak Djokovic. Go fire away, Chris.
So
yes,
Medvedev is going to win the World Tour Finals.
Okay. Yep. I can see him winning it.
He's just got that tricky game no one really likes to play against. It's very unorthodox and he gets on people's nerves. And you tend to see his opponents not playing their best. He just gets under the skin, and that's what I see, what me and you see against Steph.
Yes.
Steph just gets angry, but I think he'll beat Novak in the final in 3 sets.
Yes.
It's not going to be an epic or anything, but I just think I think it's his year. And
and he's going to finish off a good year.
Yeah.
Even better.
Very, very
greater.
strong. Yeah.
No, and that's, I genuinely believe, okay, ranking's one thing, but matchup wise, I remember Daniil Medvedev took on Novak in Cincinnati a week or 2 before the U.S. Open, I'm pretty sure.
And he got the win.
He won in straight 6-4, 6-4. I think that matchup, they're very similar type players. They're like literally brick walls.
Yeah.
They're like literally David Ferrer on steroids. He was like a brick wall back in the day, David Ferrer. So
a bit more power.
A bit power. I think more placement, more accuracy. And this is really Novak's sort of like-for-like match. And I don't think Novak can really find a way of beating someone at his own game.
Yep.
I know Novak can tactically outclass Rafa, not on clay obviously, but all other surfaces. He can beat Roger, he can beat Steph, he can beat all in the top 8. Alexander Zverev, even though he lost to him in the final last year. But I just genuinely believe if they match up, yes, I'd probably go for Daniil Medvedev as my prediction to knock off Novak in the final.
Yeah.
So,
but your prediction?
My prediction is Rafa versus Novak. I'm going to say Novak in 3. Novak in 3.
So Rafa still won't have that World Tour Finals.
He'll just miss out. Unfortunately, I think he's just going to miss out on it. Yeah. So that's my prediction.
In 3 sets.
3 sets.
Great.
Yes.
Well, guys, we're going to come back next week to see how our predictions went. But if you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the page. Harry, thank you so much for joining me today.
Chris, thank you very much. And to our viewers, you can catch all the action of the ATP D.U.S Finals on ESPN. For all the Australian viewers, we're going to be up at all hours of the morning, unfortunately. So not looking forward to work next week. But it's all part of the fun, and it's the last week of tennis before a month and a half break. So definitely going to make the most of it, Chris, as I'm sure you are.
Oh, definitely. Where can people find you?
Where can people find me? 230 Watervale Road, Ivanhoe, Collings Real Estate. Follow me on Instagram, Harry Manaras, all lowercase. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Guys, please follow D.U.S Down Under Sports on Instagram, and my Instagram is Christopher Spreezy. We will see you next week. Have a great week. Thanks.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thanks, bro.
Done. No worries.
And next week, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
How long did it go for?